So good morning, everyone. Just before we get into this, a brief history of me is I've been in sales for a long time. About 4 years ago, almost to the month of August, I got my life and health insurance license. I actually went into the life insurance side and was pretty successful doing that, and I did that for about 3 years, but I found I wasn't really making a big connection with my clients. It was sort of a one and done type of sale. And you're sort of spinning at least myself, I was spinning my wheels at that. The company I was with didn't have a whole lot of structure. So I decided, I had heard a lot of good things about health insurance. I decided to make a switch. It's almost been a year. Started looking last June, July, and it's been about 11 months, and here I am today. So what my wife and I sort of did a little brainstorming last night, and she's sort of the brains behind all this. So she should get a lot of the credit. So
brings in the looks, obviously.
Yeah, absolutely. So we did a little brainstorming last night. We tried to put together something that was sort of segmented on what I did, my really sort of coming full circle my first year in the business. So first thing we did is we when I started with Jeff and Gerard, when I interviewed things, they said, come to Monday meetings, make sure you're here. So what I've done is I put together something by plugging yourself in. Make sure that when you're here, you're attending Monday meetings, whether it's, you want to try to get into the office if you can. For most of you, the newer agents, make sure you're here and be present at the meetings. Don't have cell phones out, and don't, be present for that hour or hour and a half or 2 hours of that meeting. Make sure you're there listening, because you will gain some things throughout the meetings, whether it's carrier updates, what's going on, you see people's numbers. It just sort of helps to motivate you and start that week. Another thing that I was big on was listening to Jeff. He really sort of took me under his wing, and I see him do this to every new agent that comes in the office. Listen to other agents, your managers, listen to what they're doing. Try to gain things from other agents and sort of piece it together in your own way. Get familiar with LeadMaster. That was one thing that I wanted to make sure that, because it can be overwhelming a little bit, so you want to make sure that you can get familiar with how to input leads, whether it's inputting your own personal leads or whatever your managers give you potentially, or things that you gathered while you were out. Make sure you get familiar with that, and I think that's going to sort of set the stage for what's to come. So ask a lot of questions. Don't be afraid to ask questions. Everybody's here to help, whether it's myself, other agents that have been in the business for a while. Ask questions, because if you don't ask questions, you're sort of left in la la land, and it becomes a lot harder. So that's sort of what I did for the first couple of months, is just sort of gain the knowledge, listen to Jeff. Me and Jeff went on ride-alongs where he'd go to appointments that I set. I listened to Jeff do phone calls. I actually watched Gerard do some appointments. So you just want to get familiar with all that. And that's what I did for later part of July into August. And I started making some traction at that point. At that point, you start talking. And what I mean by that is start dialing leads. Once you've gained and gain the knowledge that you feel prepared enough, you're obviously not going to be as prepared as you want to be, but start calling the free leads and LeadMaster. They're there for you to call, dial through them, get familiar with it, do walk and talks. Jeff was very big on this with me in the beginning. Getting out into your community, going to local businesses. Jeff showed me the ropes. he hadn't done it in a little while, but we were pretty successful in the beginning. The first 2 businesses we went to, we were able to get quotes out to them.
Wow, this is great.
Yeah, it was awesome. So we did walk and talks. My wife and I still do that to this day. We go out, and near the end of the slides, I'll show you what some of the things that we do when we go on walk and talks. For me, getting licensed in as many states as you can afford. Some states are more expensive than others, so obviously there's less expensive states. And for me, I didn't have a whole lot of money to start investing in my business in the beginning, and I'm sure a lot of new agents don't have that. So, Ohio, Texas, some of the less expensive states, but they're large states, so they can give you more access in Lead Master to continue to dial free leads on that side. And then if you have extra cash here and there through sales, we obviously know how the marketing dollars go and the lead reimbursements go. We can start buying leads in those states. Stay organized with your leads. This is another thing that my wife has taken on the responsibility of, but Gerard helped me to do this. He calls it a money box. And I'm sure you guys all know that are here locally. The money box is sort of what you make it, whether it's a 3-ring binder or an actual box that you can go buy, one of those accordion files. If you stay organized with the leads that you have, a no today may not be a no in 3 months. And that's sort of what I've taken on is just because somebody says no now or they're not ready, you just continue to dial those leads, and you sort of recirculate them. Alphabetize your money box. Make sure those leads are being called over and over again, because at some point they're going to be ready. It may not be tomorrow, it may not be in a year from now, but at some point you're sort of gathering data, and those people are going to be ready at some point. Get to know your clients. I think that sort of goes along with staying organized with your leads. Be relatable with them. Don't necessarily always talk about insurance with them if it's the second, third, or fourth call. In the first or second call, you might have heard that they went on a vacation, or you might have heard that they are having something, a surgery or something. Get to know your clients, because when you start talking to them, you gain a lot of credibility, and it's going to make it easier for when they are ready that you're the person they're going to go to. Oops, I ended it. All right, so this was big for me. Open enrollment. This is where my big success was. Joe Eichmann in the meetings in September, October was preparing us, and he said, like, dive in, all in. It's only 45 days. Make sure that you are consuming yourself in open enrollment, because that is personally for me where it blew up for me, was open enrollment. Everything you're doing right now, currently for new agents, whether you got contracted in July or maybe a couple months back, everything you're doing right now is setting the stage for open enrollment, because you're going to get small sales here and there, but open enrollment is all the people you've talked to. You're setting that stage up for them because it's a heightened awareness. So that was huge for me. I consumed myself for the whole 6 weeks of open enrollment. I sat at my dining room table I did develop like the phone thing, because I knew my goal was to make partner within my first year. That was what I set my goal for. So for the 45 days, I literally, and my wife can attest to this, I sat at my dining room table because I didn't go in the office. I wanted to sort of be by myself. I sat at my dining room table from about 6 a.m. and it would go into 5, 6, 7 at night sometimes. So I've worked 12-hour days, and I did it 5 days a week, sometimes on Saturdays. Saturdays weren't that great with the phones, but that's literally where I made all my sales. And I think I did somewhere between 300,000 and 400,000 at open enrollment. So that was huge for me. Ask for referrals. That's something we can be doing all the time. But at open enrollment, it's up. Everybody's awareness is up. So once you make that sale with people, ask who else you can help. It's not going to hurt you. They ask for their names, their numbers. It's there. If you develop that relationship with them, they're going to think in their mind, okay, who else can I give this information to? Here's the money box. Keep record of everybody you spoke with during open enrollment. Because on the next slide, this is sort of what catapulted me and helped me get through the slower months. Keep them in your money box. Make sure that you're recycling those leads and keeping record of them. Set your goals. For me, I had daily goals and I had weekly goals. I didn't go beyond that. My daily goal was I wanted to try to enroll 5 people a day. If I didn't hit it, the next day I tried to step it up. You're your only competitor, so there's agents that have been here for years and years and years. When you see these numbers of 100, 150, 200, 500,000 a week, don't try to run with those people. You're your only competitor, so you need to just set your daily goals and make sure that that's what you're focused on, is what you want to do and not what everybody else is doing.
Great advice.
All right, so after open enrollment, we're into January, things die down a little bit. Luckily for us, we can sell all year long. So keeping our momentum, that's what for me, what I wanted to do was everybody I talked to at open enrollment, that whether it was a sale or not a sale, I reached out to them. If they didn't buy a policy, maybe they're ready in February, March, April. So again, going back to the money box, you want to make sure that you're categorizing your leads, alphabetizing them, and then when January, February, March hit, you're going back to those leads. You're sending out thank you cards to your clients. That was huge for me. Right after Chicago, my wife and I came back and we're like, we're going to send out thank you cards to every client we touched in open enrollment. So we sort of segmented it out because there was a lot of clients. We don't want to sit there and do it for hours on end, but so we took it upon ourselves to, in her good handwriting, she sent out all my thank you cards to every client we had. And I kid you not, I had people calling me back, either saying thank you for the thank you card, or hey, I got your card. Do you offer life insurance as well? So it gives you another chance to touch those clients, because again, these aren't one and done sales like I had in life insurance. This is sort of, health insurance is an in for opening up other things. So send out thank you cards. That's super important. Birthday cards, if you have them. Lead Master keeps track of all that stuff, which is great for us. Investing in your business. This is something that we did in the beginning. You don't, as a new agent, have to spend a lot of money reinvesting in your business. You can do small things to stand out to people, whether it's small businesses. What my wife and I did was we put together, and we talked about this in October when you guys came, we put together some things, and I'll show you some examples at the end of bringing little gifts, whether it's popcorn or Tootsie Rolls or whatever it might be, to these companies and giving little cheesy slogans on them. Like, this is how, like, we would do popcorn, just popping in, or Tootsie Rolls, this is how we roll. So we got these ideas off the internet. Literally, there's tons of ideas, and it's super cheap to do. And we brought them along with our walk and talks. Get involved in your community. So a fellow agent and me have done a couple of things. We've done community expos. They're not very expensive. We've done it's a women's health and wellness expo, and women tend to be, if it's a family, the bigger decision maker on health insurance. So these health and wellness expos we've done, All around the valley. We're doing a couple more for open enrollment this in October and November. And what we do is we literally do a raffle at these open enrollments, and we put together like a raffle box and it's like a sign-up sheet where they can put their phone number, email, it's a little bit of information. And what that does is it goes in the raffle box, and they can raffle. We bought a juicer for them to raffle because it's a health and wellness, so we don't want to give away anything crazy. But we bought a juicer. We did like a gift box or a gift basket, and when those people are put, even if they don't win or they're not interested in insurance, because we had on there check yes or no if you're interested in receiving more information. Even if they're not interested in insurance, we're gaining their emails, we're gaining their phone numbers. And the first expo we did, we had something like 60 or 70 people's phone numbers and emails that we can go back in Lead Master, plug them in, and we can send out mass texts and mass emails to those people, whether at September, October open enrollment time, because everybody's thinking about it again. So everything you're doing, we just want to make sure that you're getting involved, you're getting out in your community. There's also something here called Gilbert Now. I want to be big in Gilbert. That's my goal. Is I want people to know, hey, I need health insurance. I want healthcare solutions to be the first thing that pops up in their mind. Because it's not only going to help me, it's going to help all of us here locally in the Phoenix area. If people think about health insurance and HST pops in their mind, it's going to help all of us. And that's the main goal here. So use local advertising and mailers. I'm to the point now where I have enough income coming in to where I'm starting to look at doing some local commercials, and to be honest with you, they are not as expensive as you guys think. Obviously, if you go with some of the bigger name people, they're going to be more expensive, but we're looking at some of the smaller things and literally like to run a commercial ad. It's $1 or $2 per 30-second commercial on some of these local stations. So it's pretty cool. So I'm looking at doing some commercials here come September, October for open enrollment, and then local advertising is something I've already started to do. I'm using Valpak, and it's going to, I think the first month it went to 60,000 homes. So we're going to start gaining traction on that. It's not going to happen overnight, but as we gain traction, again, this is all setting us up for open enrollment and the big time of the year. So social media is something my wife has helped me on Facebook. I'm not on any of that stuff. I don't deal with that stuff. So she's helped me develop a Facebook page, and we've gotten a lot of people just asking about insurance and what we do. So that's something free that you can do is use social media. I know it's been talked about in some other agent intels. Last but not least, I wanted to just sort of give you guys an idea of what I've done. We've literally done this just popping by to say hi. Great service is how we roll. Those are like simple, cheap ways to hit a bunch of businesses, and you're going to stand out because this stuff is going to go in. You're talking to necessarily not the owner of these companies. You're talking to maybe the front desk person. So this stuff is going to go in their break rooms, things like that, and people are going to see this stuff. This is the Valpak thing. I don't know if we have another slide on it. No. So what we did was we created this to go into, I'm sure some of you guys have seen it. It comes to your home at certain times of the month. And there's a back side to this where we put our picture on the back, because I think having a picture is it's relatable. It lets people know who you are. So we put this together, and we've gotten some phone calls off of it. It just went out in June, and it's going to continue to go out every month, and we're just going to see how it works. But we think it's a great idea for people to at least start knowing who HST is out here, because that's the goal here, is for everybody to benefit off of not only what I'm doing, but what everybody's doing, so we can just continue to heighten the awareness of HST out in Arizona. So that's where I'm at now, and hopefully that helps some of the newer agents on an outline of what they can do over the first 11, 12 months of their career here. It's home to me now. I'm not going anywhere. I love it. I just can't wait for open enrollment to come again, because I know that everything that I've put in this last year, I want to double my business again this year. So that's it.